everybody, welcome in. Let's get into the interview with David Uram from Hilton Head Island, South Carolina. David connected with Stephen after seeing an ad Stephen placed on Craigslist, and with that, let's get into it. Between Marc B and David Uram, I believe that Stephen's twin sister Stephanie may not have been completely honest with the fact that she knew her brother had an ad on Craigslist. Now, whether or not she was keeping tabs and setting up appointments, I do not know. But Marc and David both have a same story. Do they know each other? I don't know. But let's listen. It's only 11 minutes long.
This last couple comments. Coastal May team is representing AKCL 06215. Today is August 28th, approximately 0909. Going to be speaking with David Uram. Oh, how are you doing, sir? Okay. Yes, that would be fine. Again, like I said the other day, you're not in any trouble, obviously. I'm not coming there and talking to you in person or anything, and I'm not reading your rights. So,
okay.
But basically, to start with, I always start with just some basic questions. Just, what is your address? Okay. And does anyone live with you, or do you live alone?
I basically live alone. I have an 18-year-old daughter that I was divorced last year, so she stayed with me on the weekends. And she just is a starting freshman at Coastal Carolina University, so she's now not living with me, for the most part. She's in her dorm up in Conway.
Okay. And how did you meet Stephen?
So we connected. He had placed an ad on Craigslist, so I responded to it, and so he met me I guess it was the evening of June 28th.
Okay. And again, you're not going to be in any trouble for how you answer this question, but for this, was any money exchanged?
No.
Okay. So it was just like a date?
Yeah. It was just how would you say it? Consenting adult encounter. How's that?
That's fine. And about how many times did you talk to him prior to that, to plan the meeting?
I think we only texted that day. Well, not texted, through the Craigslist email, however that works through Craigslist. But it was all through email, except when he was on his way here, we did exchange texts because I was just trying to help him find his way here.
Okay. And did you guys plan to meet again?
We did not. However, I texted him. He arrived here. I don't remember the exact time, but it was probably around 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. He was delayed. I know he was working at, I think, the Hampton Fair or something of that sort that day. It was a Saturday, I believe.
Okay.
If I recall correctly. I think he was working with his sister at the fair. I think he might have been tired or whatever and showered and whatever. But anyways, it took him a while to get here. He got here later than what he had originally told me. But then, so then when he left, I don't remember exactly what the time it was, but it might have been like 1 in the morning or something like that. And I was a little concerned about him leaving that late, but, he really wanted to go back. So he did. And then, and I did text him the next morning just to make sure he got home safe.
Okay.
And then he just said he had a good time and that, and that he'd be willing to meet me again sometime in the future. Because I had texted him a couple of times after that, which he never responded to, but maybe that's because he was already passed away and I didn't realize that, unfortunately. That happens.
Yes. So afterwards, other than like the next morning,
it was really a one-night stand. I guess is the best way to say it.
Right.
Other than I was just concerned that he left kind of late. He is like an hour. I don't know exactly what it was, but I'm guessing it was about an hour drive from Hilton Head back to his home.
Okay.
So I just, I just wanted to make sure he got home safe.
Right.
Because we had a positive experience. I think we both mutually enjoyed each other's company. I just want to make sure he got home okay.
Okay. And about how many days later do you remember when you sent him another text?
Yeah, I don't remember exactly, but I would guess, because the only reason we were able to hook up that particular day was because my daughter was at like a leadership weekend at Coastal Carolina, so I normally wouldn't do that if she was around, obviously. So she happened to be away. I was alone that weekend, and it just kind of worked out. Then, and she just started as a freshman, so I had like one other opportunity sometime between that we could have connected, but I don't remember exactly when that was, but it was probably a month or so later.
Okay. That
I might have sent him another text just saying, hey, would you be interested in, hooking up again, or seeing each other again? And he never responded, but I'm presuming that when I sent that, I think his accident already had occurred, or whatever happened to him. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but.
Okay. But your best guess, about a month later, roughly?
I'm thinking that's what it was. I deleted all my texts, so I don't have the records of them. Because when he didn't respond, like I sent him that one, and then I might have sent him one like another week or two later, and didn't respond to either one. So I just figured, well, he's not interested in, but I didn't know at that point what happened. So I just assumed, well, he's not interested in, getting back together again. So I just deleted,
okay,
all my text correspondence and my email correspondence with him. So I don't have records of that anymore. So I'm going by memory now, but.
Right. And how did you find out that he had died?
So his mother, I believe it's his mother, found me on Facebook. And she found me, I guess, because when they got access to the car, the Palmetto Dunes gate pass was in his vehicle. He had not taken it out, so it was in there.
Okay.
And so she got my name, and of course she would have known the address, because I think the address is on the gate pass. So somehow she probably did a search, and she found me on Facebook. She messaged me asking to be my friend, and I messaged her back, like, who are you? How do you know me? And then that's when I found out.
Okay.
And I just tried to be as helpful to her as I could, just saying she had a great son. It was just a one-time thing, but, I just thought he was a very nice person.
Right. Okay. And when he did come over, did anyone else know that he was coming over?
If they did, I'm not aware of that.
Okay.
The only one that possibly might have, if I had to guess, might have been his sister, because it seemed like, only from what he told me, he seemed like he was pretty close to his sister.
Okay.
But I don't know that for a fact. He didn't tell me that.
All right. And is there anything that I forgot to ask you, or perhaps that you think is important that I need to know about?
I don't think there is relative to our encounter. So the only thing I advised his mother was, that, well, first I just asked, was she aware of his sexual orientation? She said yes, but his father is, very much against it, or was against it. But she was pretty understanding of it. And then I said, were you aware that he had placed, some Craigslist ads? Because there's crazy people out there. I'm a very nice person, and I would never do any harm to anybody. But that, I know there are some crazy people out there, so I just suggested that maybe she contact Craigslist and just try to find out, see if she can get access to their servers, or maybe you all can do your investigation, just in case, I don't know what happened that particular day or night when his accident or, whatever happened to him happened, but I just, I think it's a remote possibility that it might be somehow related to, another similar, Craigslist encounter, and, but not everybody likes his sexual orientation. So, it's just a possibility, is all I would say, is all I was trying to tell her.
Right.
Yeah.
It was his ad or your ad on Craigslist? It
was his ad. No, it was his ad, not my ad.
Okay.
I'd never placed an ad.
Okay.
So I had only responded to it. So that was my concern is, if you want to call it a concern, it's not a concern, but, I'm just thinking, like, what could have happened? Because she has a feeling that there was foul play involved. Whether there was or wasn't, I have no idea. It's certainly not my business to know. But I just know that these, you read about these kind of things that can happen. I try to, if I ever was going to, I don't do this kind of thing very often, very seldom actually, but I just, you read about, some bad things that happen once in a while. So I just That was what was going through my mind.
Right. All right. Well, again, thank you very much for calling me back.
Okay.
And being very helpful. But
okay.
But have a good day, okay?
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
This concludes this interview. Again, today's date is August 28th, and it's approximately 09:14.
A 19-year-old meets a man off of a Craigslist. It drives to his house who he has never met. They have a night of, I don't know exactly what, obviously a one-night stand. But there was no money exchanged. And supposedly, Stephen had Marc B as his boyfriend. I mean, Craigslist and people that he met from there could probably open up a whole can of worms. But something is off. It also seems to me that Marc and David are much older than Stephen, which brings me back to what Marc said, that the older guys would like the boys to look illegal. I mean, there are a lot of loose ends as far as I am concerned in the Stephen Smith case. But we are going to dive deeper. I do have a Stephen Smith's mom's interview, and I also have the interview from a private investigator who breaks down the Stephen Smith's case. A warning, I am going to show a picture of Stephen's position when they found him in the middle of the road. Stephen Smith was not hit by a car, so who left Stephen in the middle of the road in South Carolina on that dreadful evening? Hopefully, we will find out. It's starting to sound like Stephen Smith had a life that maybe his mother did not know about. In the confusion of Stephen living with his mom or living with his dad, he was living with his father at the time of his death, but he spent a lot of time with his mom. Leave your thoughts. Tell me what you think. I have a great interview on a private investigator that just came out recently regarding Stephen Smith, and we will definitely dive into that. And with that, it is a wrap. Everyone, thank you for coming in. Please make sure you click that like, the subscribe, and the bell for notifications so you do not miss the next time we drop a video or go live. Everybody have a good day or a good night wherever you are in the world, and stay vigilant. I am out.